This is the first BeBop flight with the BeBop drone by Parrot. Easy to fly. It's stabilized with the gyro stabilization, so all you really worry about is how high you want it and which direction you want it to fly. The camera is engaged all the time, although you can turn off the camera and turn it back on. You can also take still photographs while it's flying. The airframe sits below, and then the camera and the battery and the electronics sits in a long tube that's gimbal mounted to isolate it for vibration. You can fly this thing well above the trees, up above 400 feet if you want to, although you really should stay below 400 feet. You can see on your smartphone the video that's coming out of the camera, so you can fly using what they call heads up by that video. You can also tilt the camera up and down or to the left and right. The field of view is about 180 degrees, and you typically can cause the airframe to turn to the left or turn to the right. You can control how fast it turns, and here I'm flying it above the trees, but not above all of the trees. And so as I'm drifting over to the right, I come into the trees and I get a little nervous, and rather than just flying away from the tree, I find myself flying into the tree. And then I reset it on the grass and start flying again, and just working on gaining control and stability of the airframe as it flies. And I fly out across the yard, and then I'll start to turn the camera a little bit to look to the left and look to the right, and then eventually cross the yard, cross the driveway, and head over towards the left side of the yard. And it's interesting to experience looking at the airframe as it's in the air. And there's me in the field of view, there's the house, and I'm now flying sideways. You can fly it backwards or forwards or to the left or to the right at any angle that you choose to fly it. And I thought, well, let me practice landing it, so I flew myself across the driveway. I may have flown backwards, I'm not sure. There I am drifting sideways, and then I set it down rather than fly into the trees, and then picked it up, lifted up to a different spot, launched it again. Had a couple of false starts, which I trimmed out of the video, and then slowly gained control over the camera and continued to fly this BeBop drone without too much difficulty. This is my very first video with it. Started to land, could skim across the grass. If you get down into the grass too far, it won't take off because the grass is too high. It doesn't sit up high enough in a 3.5-inch cut to launch. So I picked it up, moved it over where it had a little less grass in the way of the blades. Was able to take off again. This time I flew under a tree, walked over, picked it up, and that just about closed it out. So I left the camera going and walked up towards the house and walked inside. Once you get inside, you hook it up to a USB cable to the computer and you can download the video. And then of course you can edit, trim it, add sound effects, or do an audio recording behind it. I'm not sure how well any of this is going to work out, but hopefully it will, and we'll be able to share this on our YouTube channel. This is Terry Redding in De Leon Springs, Florida, in what they call the Glenwood Oaks Bird Sanctuary. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day.